All right, week 1 of the NFL season. Wow. It certainly gave us plenty to chew on, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. You know, the usual mix of thrilling upsets, some breakout performances.
And let's be honest, some real head-scratching moments, too.
Yeah, definitely those.
But look, we're not dwelling on the past. We're diving headfirst into week 2. So, here at the Deep Dive, you've given us your stack articles, research, our own notes, and our mission, well, it's the same as always.
Right, we're here to pull out the most important nuggets, the key insights.
Exactly. Think of it as like your shortcut, your way to get instantly well-informed about what really matters in the upcoming NFL action. We're trying to get you those aha moments.
Looking beyond just the scores, yeah, into the why.
Today, we're taking that deep dive into the Week 2 outlook. Key players across the league. We'll hit those surprising Week 1 stats, look at projected performances.
And the reasons behind them. Yeah. Even how it impacts things like fantasy lineups week to week.
Okay, first up, the field generals. Let's talk quarterbacks. Week 1 showed us some incredible dual threat guys and others who look absolutely primed for a rebound.
It's fascinating, isn't it? How quickly a QB can show that multifaceted impact. Or, you know, how a slow start might just be setting the stage for a big adjustment in week 2.
Totally. Like, take Lamar Jackson. Okay, the Ravens lost. Tough week 1. But he was incredibly efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Over 200 yards passing, 2 TDs on just 19 attempts. That's 11 yards per throw. Crazy efficient.
And that's just half the story, right?
Exactly. Add in the 70 rushing yards, another score on the ground. That versatility, it just makes him a nightmare.
It really does. And yeah, maybe Baltimore doesn't need him to be quite so aggressive against Cleveland in week 2, but I mean, that combined threat, he's still elite. Absolutely a must start.
Defenses just don't know what to do sometimes.
Right. He forces them to pick their poison, and he usually makes them pay.
And speaking of nightmares for defenses, Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills. Just, wow.
Unleashed is the word. A monster outing.
Seriously.
Yeah.
424 total yards. Let that sink in.
Yeah.
394 passing, 2 TDs there.
Plus 30 on the ground with 2 more scores, 4 touchdowns total. Just huge.
So the big question, can he do it again? Against the Jets in week 2.
I think it's highly plausible, actually. Look, the Jets D gave up 4 passing TDs in their openers, and Allen, well, he kind of owns them historically. 6 TDs in 2 games last year.
Yeah, that's right.
So his command, their early struggles in coverage, he's locked in as a top-tier guy again.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Jaden Daniels, Washington Commanders, second year, looked dynamic.
Yeah, he really seemed to pick up where that impressive rookie season left off. Dual threat stuff against the Giants, 233 passing, a TD, nearly 70 rushing yards.
Solid to start.
But the competition ramps up big time. Green Bay in week 2, the Packers absolutely dominated the Lions, held them under 50 rushing yards, league low, just 200 passing.
So Daniels isn't sneaking up on anyone now.
Exactly. They'll be ready for him. He needs to be sharp. Really sharp.
Okay, let's talk about guys maybe bouncing back or emerging. Joe Burrow, Cincinnati.
Burrow, yeah, that trend of slow starts. It continued, didn't it?
It really did. Only 113 yards, 1 TD, averaging, 5 yards an attempt? That's abysmal for it.
It is.
Yeah.
But this is exactly where you expect the rebound. They have to open up the offense against Jacksonville.
You think so?
Look at the Jags D in week 1. Gave up almost 300 yards passing to Joe Flacco. It's almost a strategic necessity for the Bengals. And Burrow, he usually responds.
So, still a top option despite week 1.
Comfortably top 6, I'd say. Expect him to make everyone forget last week.
Okay. How about J.J. McCarthy, the Vikings rookie? Led that comeback win.
Yeah, impressive primetime win after being down big. Showed some real grit, even with the early struggles and that ugly pick 6.
He finished okay, though, right? Couple of passing TDs, a rushing score.
He did. And that grit, plus maybe getting those debut jitters out, it sets him up well. Week 2 against Atlanta, their secondary looks vulnerable.
Opportunity there.
Big opportunity. Build on the dual threat stuff, clean up the mistakes, build some confidence.
And one more QB who started hot, Justin Herbert, Chargers.
Oh yeah, he dazzled. 318 yards, 3 touchdowns against KC. That's a statement.
Gives you hope they'll let him air it out more this year, right? After kind of reining him in last season.
It certainly does. And he looks poised to maybe rack up big numbers again. The Raiders defense he faces, they just gave up almost 290 passing yards to Drake May. Oof.
And they struggled last year too, didn't they?
Yeah, 29 passing TDs allowed last year. Now Herbert got Keenan Allen back, other threats. Could be another huge day for him. Okay, so moving from the passers, the architects, let's talk about the pounders, the running backs.
Yeah, the ground game. Always crucial, especially early on when roles are maybe still shaking out.
Right, and it raises that key question, doesn't it? How are teams going to allocate touches in week 2? We've got injuries, surprising week 1 stuff.
Yeah.
It all plays in.
It really does. Let's start with the clear workhorses. Christian McCaffrey, CMC.
Mr. Reliable.
Pretty much. Heavy load for the Niners in week 1. 142 scrimmage yards, 22 carries, 9 catches. He's just foundational for them.
And he might have to carry even more weight against the Saints in week 2.
How come?
Well, you look at the injuries. Kittle, maybe Purdy, Schwan Jennings. They're banged up. McCaffrey becomes even more central. Plus, the Saints D allowed, 146 rushing yards in week 1? There's potential there for CMC.
Good point. All right, Derrick Henry. King Henry.
Still got it. Another strong game for the Ravens. Yeah, he had that late fumble, but those 2 long TD runs, 46 yards, 30 yards. Explosive.
The consistency is just nuts. Hasn't he scored or hit 100 yards in like almost every game as a Raven?
Pretty much. All but 2 of his 20 games. It's remarkable. Makes him a must start against Cleveland. He's always a threat.
And Josh Jacobs in Green Bay. Looked like the clear guy there.
Totally entrenched. Got his TD again. Extended that franchise record streak to 9 games. Even though the yardage wasn't huge, the usage was there.
Yeah.
19 carries.
Bell cow back, as they say.
Exactly. Locked in as a high-end RB1 against Washington. Yeah, the Commanders shut down the Giants' run game last week, but Jacobs' usage, especially near the goal line, that's key. It's about opportunity.
Okay, now for some more intriguing situations. Backfields where maybe things aren't quite so clear-cut. Bijan Robinson, Atlanta.
Yeah, a bit of a weird week 1 for him, wasn't it?
Totally. Great receiving numbers, 100 yards, a TD through the air. But on the ground, just 24 yards on 12 carries. Kind of got shut down.
Which was unexpected, so you got to think he'll look to, take bigger command of the run game against the Vikings. Minnesota gave up decent chunks on the ground in week 1.
So more balance expected.
Yeah, I think so. Expect him to get more carries than his QB this week. Bulk of the RB rep should be his.
Okay, then maybe the biggest week 1 disappointment, Jahmyr Gibbs, Detroit.
Oof, yeah, that was rough. 9 carries, 10 targets, and only 50 scoreless yards.
And that stat about his receiving yards on 10-plus targets being an NFL record low, wild.
It's Green's anomaly. It just has to be. He needs to get back to that usual efficiency against the Bears in week 2. You draft a guy top 5 in fantasy,
Yeah.
you expect more.
Big prove-it week for him then.
Absolutely. Show week 1 was the outlier, not the new normal.
All right, let's move to the wide receivers. This is where things often get really interesting, right? The swings week to week can be huge.
Oh, for sure. Talent, opportunity, scheme. Sometimes it clicks, sometimes it just doesn't. Week 1 sets the table, week 2 brings the adjustments.
No kidding. Look at Jamar Chase. Bengals, you could argue he had the most disappointing fantasy showing.
Yeah, 2 catches, 26 yards for Chase. That's fun.
The whole Bengals offense just fell flat. It was actually kind of shocking to watch.
And that's exactly why the week 2 outlook is just completely different. He's an easy pick for a bounce back against Jacksonville.
You're confident.
Totally. It wasn't about his skill or his role last week. The whole offense stalled. His talent, his connection with Burrow, that's not in doubt. He's a must start. Simple as that.
Okay. Puka Nacua, Rams. He definitely shined.
Yeah, big time. 10 catches, 130 yards against Houston. Just kept getting open.
And the interesting part, right, was Devontae Adams being there didn't seem to matter. Stafford still looked Nakua's way constantly.
It really highlights the trust Stafford has in him. And he looks set to keep it rolling against Tennessee. Yeah, the Titans are okay against receivers in week 1, but Nakua's talent and target volume, he could easily blow past that 120-yard mark himself.
He's established himself quickly.
Very quickly. Okay.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson, Vikings, different story in week 1.
Yeah, got the late TD, but otherwise pretty quiet. 4 catches, 44 yards. Seemed like he and McCarthy weren't quite clicking early.
Probably a mix of things. New QB, maybe some nerves, tough road game.
So better things ahead.
You'd think so. Work on that chemistry with McCarthy against Atlanta. Much friendlier home matchup. Jefferson's still the top guy there. He should get back to being that weekly 100-yard threat.
Okay, let's touch on some rookies making waves. Marvin Harrison Jr. looked promising for Arizona.
Yeah, solid debut. 5 catches, 71 yards. Got that short TD. Seemed in sync with Kyler Murray right away.
But he's got competition for targets, right? Trey McBride, the tight end, also had a good week 1. And Carolina, their opponent, got absolutely gashed on the ground. So Arizona might just run the ball a ton.
Could happen. Lean on the run game, which might limit Harrison's chances through the air. It's a potential game script issue.
Gotcha. Emeka Egbuka, Tampa Bay. He lived up to the hype.
Oh, yeah. Huge opener. 2 2 touchdowns, both from 25-plus yards out. Showcased those big play abilities everyone talked about.
And a nice matchup in week 2.
Looks like it. Chance to tear up another secondary against Houston. The Texans gave up over 220 receiving yards to Rams receivers last week. Very favorable spot for Ibuka.
Hey, Garrett Wilson. Jets. Talk about volume.
Target monster. Plain and simple. 7 catches, 95 yards, a TD on 9 targets. Triple the volume of any other Jets receiver.
Just expect more of the same against Buffalo.
I think so. He figures to remain that target monster. And look, the Bills defense just gave up a big line to Zay Flowers last week. 143-1. Vulnerability there.
Signs point to another solid day for Wilson then.
All signs confidently point that way, yeah. He's the clear focal point. Okay, finally, let's hit the tight ends and the kickers. The unsung heroes, maybe?
Sometimes. Crucial positions, though. And you're right, this is where unexpected guys can pop up and make a difference.
Exactly. Starting with tight ends, Brock Bowers for the Raiders. Looked good, right? Picked up where he left off.
Yeah, team high, 103 yards on 5 catches. Seemed to have immediate chemistry with Geno Smith. There was that knee injury, though.
Right, but the team seems to be downplaying it.
Yeah.
So assuming he plays, he gets the Chargers.
Right.
They were okay against TEs last year in terms of catches, but gave up very few TDs.
So maybe catches, but harder to score.
Could be. Receptions seemed likely given that chemistry, but the end zone might be tougher. Still, strong start.
How about Tyler Warren for the Colts? He seemed to come out of nowhere.
Yeah, immediately established himself. Team high, 9 targets, turned that into 7 catches, 76 yards. Key part of the passing game right away.
And a good matchup this week.
Looks that way.
Yeah.
Primed for another busy day against Denver. Their secondary is elite, right? Limits the wide receivers.
Which funnels targets elsewhere.
Often does, yeah. More work for tight ends. Denver allowed the 9th most catches to TEs last season. This matchup definitely favors Warren getting looks.
Okay, kickers. Quick hits. Harrison Butker. Chiefs.
Made his field goals, including that long 59-yarder. Impressive leg. But uncharacteristically missed an extra point.
And a tough matchup against Philly.
Yeah, the Eagles gave up the fewest points per game to kickers last year. Lowest mark in the NFL. Butker's got to capitalize on every chance, especially those long ones.
Will Lutz, Denver. Perfect in week 1.
Yep, perfect. And he's always thrived kicking at altitude. His volume could actually go up this week, maybe at the expense of extra points.
If the offense stalls out.
Exactly. If Bo Nix and that offense struggle to finish drives against the Colts, Lutz could see more field goal attempts.
Okay, wow. So there you have it. A whirlwind tour. A real deep dive through the key players, the dynamics shaping week 2.
Yeah, we hit the dual threat QBs, the workhorse RBs, those receivers set to bound back or keep rolling.
Plus the tight ends and kickers who, let's face it, can absolutely make or break your Sunday. We really hope this gave you that shortcut, packed with insights you can use this week.
Definitely. And what's always so fascinating about the NFL, right, is how fast these narratives change.
Oh, totally. Dominant week 1 could still be an uphill battle in week 2. Quiet opener might set up a monster outing 7 days later.
Which brings us to that final thought for you, the listener. Beyond just the stats, what single week 1 performance, good or bad, do you think has most drastically shifted things? Set up a player or a team for the most unexpected outcome in week 2. What shift in expectation really stands out most to you?